Hey, Cat Chicks, it's Gavin the Greaser here. Alright, so today's video topic is on engineer boots. Now, if you've been following the channel, you watch the channel, then you know I did a video on engineer boots about a few weeks ago on the Dingo engineer boots, which are the engineer boots I wear all the time. These. Alright? So if you follow the channel, you watch the channel, you know I did a review on that, right? You should have watched it, right? So, today's video topic is going to be a little bit similar on engineer boots. We're going back on the topic of engineer boots. But today's video specifically is going to be, I don't want to say origin, but maybe like how engineer boots came about is what I'm going to call this video. Dig it? Alright, so, quick tip. Alright. Oh, this kind of goes into the first question that I have here is, first question would be, what is an engineer boot and how can you tell by an engineer boot or what an engineer boot looks like? Well, let's get into it, shall we? So, an engineer boot, alright, this is my engineer boot, my Dingo engineer boots. Like I said, these are the boots I wear all the time. I love these freaking things. Yeah, so an engineer boot, you could tell by an engineer boot by these two simple little details, okay? Number one, you could tell by an engineer boot by the buckles that it has on the bottom right here by the ankle, and you can tell by the buckle up here by the mid-calf area. That's one reason how you can tell by where something's an engineer boot. The other reason how you can tell whether it's an engineer boot or not is because of the design of the upper area up here. The design of this upper area is another reason why you can tell it's an engineer boot. That's how you can tell. So, yeah. Had these boots for about 2 to 3 years. Love them. Alright, I wrote these down on a piece of paper because I was going to forget some of these shit. Alright. So what is an engineer boot then? Considering we answered the first question on how you can tell what one was and how you can tell, what is an engineer boot? Well, according to what I looked up, an engineer boot is a mix between a logger boot and an English riding boot. Now, if you don't know what any of those are, look them up, find some pictures if you want. I'm not saying you have to, but that's what an engineer boot, that's what this is made of. A logger boot and a English riding boot. That's what an engineer boot is made up of. It's a mixture between those two boots, compacted into one, and they just named it a different name. They called it engineer boot instead of, anything else. That's what an engineer boot is made up of. I'm fucking dropping shit. Alright, next question on engineer boots. Okay, this is a very good question. Who created engineer boots first? Okay, so, according to what I looked up, it's not really been said on who created engineer boots first. It's not really out there. Data's not really out there. You can't really find it. If you go to look it up, you're not really going to be finding much. But pretty much what I got from it is it's between two boot companies that are still around to this day. And the boots are expensive as hell. Otherwise, I'd be buying a pair. I kind of want one. I want some. Alright, so, between these two companies, Chippewa and Wesco. And those companies are still around to this day. Alright, they're an engineer boot company. They're a boot company. They're still around to this day. Just like how they were around, back in that time as well. Alright, when did engineer boots get invented? Okay, so, engineer boots were invented around the 1930s, the Great Depression era. Okay? That was kind of short. Why were engineer boots invented? Well, believe it or not, engineer boots were invented originally for the railroad industry. I probably said that really weird, but that's why they were invented. Okay, because people in the railroad industry needed something that was, rugged, that was, simple, was going to, keep their feet in good condition, which is some of the reasons why us greasers wear them, because, you know, but yeah, so the engineer boots were created originally for the railroad industry. You know, the simple design, you know, it kept their feet, you know, from getting burned or anything from railroads that can potentially harm your feet in general or your calves or anything like that. It's kind of like a protection thing. Okay, why do greasers wear engineer boots? Okay, so this dates back to, I want to say, to World War II. Alright? World War II is one of my favorite wars. Probably is my favorite war that happened in history. I just like it a lot. You know, the scenery, the style, how people were wearing, you know, the bomber jackets. I like the whole thing. Alright, so, why do greasers wear engineer boots? Like I said, coming back to World War II, people were taking up motorcycles, and, you know, they're still wearing the engineer boots. They were taking up the motorcycles, and, you know, pretty much that. They were taking up motorcycle riding, and they were wearing engineer boots, which is kind of where that whole greaser style came from. You know, the white t-shirt with the jackets and engineer boots, the jeans, you know, the whole look, the whole nine. It was kind of where that originated from, was World War II, you know. That's where these things came from, was World War II, in that era. You know, people were taking up motorcycles and bike riding and riding motorcycles, wearing engineer boots and the t-shirts. You know, a few years later, t-shirts and jeans and stuff came into play, but it started off with just taking up motorcycle riding. Yeah. Alright, cats, so that is kind of the, you know, some little facts that I learned on engineer boots. You know, hopefully you all enjoyed. Hopefully you all learned a little something. When I first heard about all this stuff, I definitely learned something that I didn't know before. So hopefully you all learned something as well. And yeah, so at 90 subscribers. So if you haven't not subscribed yet, keep, you know, subscribe. You know, tell your friends, whatnot, and get me to 100 subscribers. And by 100 subscribers, I will go live on YouTube. Almost there, right? It's crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Yeah, nothing else said.